Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
I call the meeting to order. It's 6:37. I think what we should do first is, I was hoping that, this is just that Rebecca would be here, but she's not. We have to do nominate, I guess we can skip over that until later. I'd prefer to have more people here for that, really. Okay. So, did everybody read the minutes? The only question I have, I asked you it.
Yes, and I was trying to finish a grant this afternoon. I'm sorry.
It's not Vin's, right?
It is Vin's.
It is Vin's. Okay.
Yeah. Vin's was less expensive than the Southern Vermont.
Okay. We in the previous we've always used Southern Vermont, so I wanted to make sure it was Vin's and not Southern Vermont because I thought it was Vin's ages ago and it was not. So I just wanted to double check on that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just changed the spelling on Ricky Klein's name.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with Southern Vermont, even with sharing mileage with other Franklin libraries, they were still more expensive.
Hi.
Yes, there's that box, and I don't know if there's anything in it.
This box?
Yeah. It was left in the book drop.
Okay, we'll just see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
It's just sitting there.
Looks like there's a little arrow or a little more button.
Oh,
Maybe you have something in the queue.
I can move over to that
Low
side.
track one.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know how much you were.
No, it doesn't, but it doesn't register the bottom pieces.
If you want this versus that whole thing.
Yes. That's good today. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did. Did you see this?
Oh, no, I did not.
Okay, you can keep that because I have it. She said, Rebecca says she can't connect. She will try her laptop. Okay, so I'm just gonna start on something that's not really important. I mean, it's important, but I'm just gonna update. Let's get it out of the way. Because it's the surplus funds. I went to the meeting, the select board meeting, and we voted to have you guys because you weren't put in you weren't warned for the town report for your terms to be up. They voted you both in until next year. And then the second thing was we asked them to move the surplus funds from 2024, and they did that. So we are all good there.
It is the Easter bucks.
$60 in fines. I went
here. I'll check the.
I went to the Easter thing last year, brought and took out some books, and Mary insisted that I take them out, and she had to put cards in the back and everything else. And then I didn't. The weather was horrible. It was snowing. It was awful.
And it was crazy.
It was crazy. It was not a good time. And so I just took them back here. I just took them out of my car, put them back. And so I went to sign into Libby, and it said, "Oh, you can't access your account. You have $60 in fines." Oh my god! What?
Yeah, and I can't. I don't. It's not very tight. And now you're renewed, but you should be fine.
Okay.
And you don't have fines anymore.
Thank you. I mean, if I did, if there was something that Natalia took out or,
Yeah.
I want to know, but
You're putting these 2 copies?
3.
3? Okay. Yeah, yeah.
well, holy cow, girly, I didn't bring my reading glasses.
They're very small. Do we want to read that? Like, does anyone? We need to get one together for Mike and
Just one together for Mike, and Mike
My
had,
God, I can't even
Yeah.
Mike had a surgery, so he probably can see better than all of us.
read it.
She sent a photo. Let's see here.
Is that the same one that's on the
What's going on?
Yeah, oh.
She sent a picture of beans. I don't know what that means.
Like, cleaned her.
Like growing beans.
Do you know what I bet it was? Hold on, I just pulled up. I didn't check. It's paper size got changed to 4x6.
Oh.
So it thinks
Yeah.
it's printing.
Oh, okay. It thinks it's printing a picture.
Is it the one just labeled the general policy, or is there a different one that has
It's
the
it's
correction?
in my personal one because I did copy and paste it.
Gotcha.
I'll get it into get it into the right place
Yeah.
for you. I just need to find letter. There's letter. That would print it correctly.
Well,
You
we're
can
good
give that.
now.
You
I'm
can-
just getting one together for Mike. and
Okay.
then-
Well,
And then print the
you
rest
can-
off.
give me the
we
rest.
can have the.
Just give me the paper and I'll take it home because
Okay, yeah.
I scribble on paper all the time at home. I'm good with.
Mary must have been printing side labels. Yeah.
Okay.
That's for my-
Well, let's see, Hadley, if we can just cruise through your stuff before Alex comes.
Sure. So I don't have my normal pretty report for you ready, but I can tell you that we had a grand total of 145 visitors in March. Total circulation including, hold on, just double checking this. Not okay, total circulation, not including ILL was 116. And then ILL was 134 for the month. We had six new cards, new people sign up this month.
Oh, nice. That's a lot.
Yes. Several people I talked to this month have either been in town for about a year or moved here in January. So it was like one extreme or the next. Yeah, they seem very friendly.
Can I just stop?
Sure.
Rebecca really wants to get in, but she's having a hard time. How do I help her?
She just wants to click on the link.
If you have to approve it.
Yeah, it hasn't. Oh, nope, it hasn't popped up yet.
I just want to, okay. She doesn't need the app, right? I mean, if she's on her computer, she's fine, right?
Right, she should be.
I just joined. I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little. She just has to click the link.
And you have to admit her?
Yes.
Recording in progress.
Okay. All right. I didn't want to say anything.
Complete.
Okay, go ahead, Hadley.
So our pool pass this month has been really popular. It's gone out 4 times. I think it's actually gone out 5 times, but this just shows 4 times.
Went up 4 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, I think they were all by the same family too.
Okay. I remember that.
And snowshoes went out twice. And let's see, anything exciting? Not a lot of town meeting day reports went out. I had a lot left over.
Yeah, I think that because they came out so late.
And I have not had a chance to check on Biblio or Libby, so I don't know those numbers off the top of my head, but I will say that I've talked to more people about how to do Biblio this month than I have.
I used Biblio. I mean, I signed into it.
So I'm thinking that it's getting more use.
It's a lot of English stuff.
Yeah,
sure.
a
It's
lot
like
of BBC. Yeah. And they asked for feedback, so
Biblio.
yeah.
You want my feedback? I think they should have PBS stuff on there. But that's just me.
And then so we have 38 people who get our newsletter. And I've added it to our new card application, so there's a box that they can check if they want to be added to our mailing list. So that way,
Up to them.
yeah. And then yeah, I'm getting good feedback on the mailing on the newsletter from those who get it. And several commenters commented that my Taylor Swift will not be in attendance. It was funny. I got several comments about that. And so we are having our Taylor Swift party on Saturday. We'll be making, well, not making, but we'll be decorating sunglasses and making friendship bracelets. And I have a Who Said It, Robert Frost or Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. That's why we're doing it in April, because it's poetry month. And I feel like there's something else I had planned. I can just not remember what it was. Recycled art butterflies. And yes, so it'll be out of not paper bottles, plastic bottles. You draw your butterfly and then you cut it out. And then you can hang them and it looks like they're flying. Yeah. So that'll be right in between Earth Day and Arbor Day.
How's story time going?
Story time is starting to pick back up. I think people were just really sick in March.
Yeah.
So we've started to see the group coming back together. We did have a new family come one day, and I encouraged them to come back. They did not come back this past week, and I'm hoping that they do. I feel like in their minds, their children were wild, and in our minds, they weren't. They were 2, so they were acting like 2-year-olds who have never been to story time before.
Right. Yeah.
None of the kids were affected by their behavior, and I don't think any of the adults were affected. I think it was the parents were embarrassed, and they shouldn't have been. So I'm hoping they come back.
Well, I think it's important. I think that a lot of, I don't know how old they are, but for us, it's like when I first started coming here with my kids, it was Helen, and I love Helen, but we were always, but libraries have changed.
Yes, if you came during story time, we are not quiet.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I have had this while you've done story time, and very, 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 very active.
Yes.
And a lot of questions. Who are you? What are you doing here? How come you're sitting over there?
I am very glad that it has warmed up enough for the snow to have melted so that they can run around the ramp instead of the shelving. So like I
Yeah.
worried about them running around the shelving.
Well, the stuff on the wall is anchored. The thing anchored.
I was
everything
more
on the
worried
wall.
about them like running into
Running into
corners,
corners. Right.
you know, and
Yeah.
I think it was Finn.
Probably would not surprise me.
It was either Finn or Aurora, literally on purpose ran into the shelving.
Wouldn't be surprised if it was.
It's just like, okay, it was a rainy day. So now they can run around outside.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy to have that. And so Peter did ask if I was going to do a library yard cleanup, and at the time I told him that I was trying to figure out when, because Saturdays this month are just so busy. Like Mary's off on Saturday, and so I'm covering, and that's Taylor Swift. The following Saturday I'm out of town, and then Alex is covering Mary the following Saturday. That is Green Up Day. So
Well, Green Up Day, they used to set up on our lawn out here, and sometimes they would rake the leaves up and stuff. I mean, they would be bored and they'd rake the leaves up. I don't know if they still do it. But
they didn't last year.
No.
But then I started to think that maybe it's something we could do on a Friday afternoon. So that might be something that I add to this month. Because I don't normally plan Fridays because it's Friday, and I just feel like people wouldn't come to something unless it was like exciting. And I don't feel like there's nothing that I'm going to plan on a Friday that's going to be more exciting than going to Burlington.
Right.
So,
Or sleeping.
right. So, but I think we'll probably do a yard cleanup for that, so that way we can look pretty before we have the grass grow. And that brings us to what's going on at the federal level. So as part of, I'll bring it up, or is it part of, I haven't seen the thing. Is it a separate discussion?
Well, Mike wanted to be here for that.
Okay, I'll wait.
I was hoping that the spring programming is just a Taylor Swift
for
and
April,
okay.
yes. And then in May I have like nature mandalas, and for Mother's Day pop-up flower cards.
Oh, nice.
And that's going to be a teen and older class.
Yep.
Or program. And gnome painting, because we still have some gnomes.
What was I gonna ask about spring programming?
Is that gonna be on a Saturday?
Pop-up Mother's Day.
The gnome painting.
The gnome painting was going to be on a Thursday evening, 5:30.
Rebecca's saying that the link is invalid.
I don't know if that's true because I clicked on it. The one that was pasted right in our chat and it worked. Can you invite people from Zoom?
Yeah, can you do it from Zoom?
I know on Teams you can invite people.
Let me get. I haven't received it yet. Was that it, Hadley?
That was it. For the, you had asked about the puppets.
Oh yeah, the traveling story.
Yeah. we're having trouble connecting. So that is
All
where,
right.
but for my thought for the 4th of July, actually, thank you for reminding me, was for the hour leading up to the parade, having messy art out front on the lawn.
Okay.
So things that I wouldn't do in here, but I'll do out there. Chalk on the sidewalk, a finger painting at a table, that sort of thing.
Okay, how do you handle,
Too much work.
okay, first of all, how are we gonna handle? We're gonna have like garbage bags or something for the kids to put on so they don't ruin their
Yeah.
clothes, or, okay.
Yeah, I have.
Will we have like a water station or something?
Yes.
Okay.
I have those cheap breakable, like you have a clear plastic garbage bags that you put anything in and they just rip.
Well, maybe we should look and see if the Conservation Commission might have a hose, because they have flowers out there. I know that they have a water hookup in the cemetery for sure, but I really don't want to be sending kids into the cemetery.
Right.
So they might have one, yeah, somewhere that I don't know about, but I do know that there is water in,
I can ask Carolyn.
yeah. Just that parents are gonna they're not gonna have an
Yeah.
opportunity to bring them home.
Right. No, and that's why I figured, if it's outside, if we put a bag or something over them, and then just have a place to clean up hands, lots of wet wipes, and then.
Sounds good. Just as long as we have a plan of cleanup.
Yes.
Alex, whenever you're ready, we're good.
Yeah. So, hi.
Yeah.
I am here at the select board's request because we were talking about the MERP grant, the Municipal Energy Resilience Program, for those who are not familiar with that acronym. We were successful at getting funding for both town hall and the library to make some building improvements. So they asked me to be here to kind of go over the budget and the application itself, just so you guys are aware of what was stated in the application in terms of the building improvements that need to happen, how the funds can be used, etc.
Right.
I am not a lawyer, and there is a grant agreement that I did send to you, the two of you. And so it's pretty general. If you the scope of work that they like put in that thing is actually pretty broad in terms of like the repairs that could happen with the money. Before I launch into like what each line item has in it, so you know how much money you have to spend, I would say get a meeting on the calendar with Marlena Valenti of the Northwest Regional Planning Commission, because through this program, the state is funding them to provide technical assistance to organizations. So she is going to be a great resource. She's amazing and kind. Every time that I've asked her a question, she's gotten back to me within like 2 hours. So he's great. John West, our select board member, is managing the repairs to the town hall, but he's not doing anything for the library, as you would expect. And so someone needs to grab the bull by the horns and manage the.
I'm gonna try. I don't know if it's gonna cause interference. I'm gonna try to bring Rebecca in this way. Is that all
Okay.
right?
That's
if it interferes, then we'll.
I also have a single copy of like the application and budget. I don't know if anybody wants it, or like we can make copies
We can make copies.
if people want to look at it as I'm talking.
I don't know. Or maybe I shouldn't be doing meeting. I should be doing.
Yeah, I'm just looking at our outlet folder.
At the document.
Yeah, the doc.
Yeah.
Do you want
Yeah,
the scope of work? You want me to?
yeah.
Here's that too.
Oh, look. Yeah, I have a copy.
Yeah, and then this is the full like grant application that got submitted. That
I think you get a copy of this. I think I have a digital copy.
yeah. If anybody else wants to look at it too, I can pull it up on my screen and read from that. So
I have to put that.
I'm sure my people want.
yeah.
Oh, finally.
Okay, I think we're good. It doesn't interfere.
We can almost see you.
Okay, so Alex, if you could just say that last part, because I think that Rebecca would be interested in that last part.
Hi, Rebecca.
Uh,
So I'm here to talk about the Municipal Energy Resilience Program. The town, we were successful at writing a grant that got funding for improvements for both town hall and the library. And so the select board asked me to come and speak to you guys about what was in that application, the budget, try to answer any questions as best as I can. But there is a contact at the Northwest Regional Planning Commission. Her name is Marlena Valenti. And she, I know, will be a great resource. So if you guys have questions along the way about how to administer these funds, how it works, what you have to kind of stick to in terms of the rules, she's really going to be your go-to person. The state's given the Planning Commission funding to support organizations that got these grants. So I highly recommend trying to get a meeting on the calendar with Marlena.
You can't take them away, can you?
No, but the funds I think that have to be spent by the end of 2026. So stuff does have to kind of get moving. You know, contractors are often delayed and slow. So so the money has to be committed by then. I don't think it has to be fully out the door, but like, you know, you have to have an agreement with a contractor signed or something like that that shows you committed the funds. So I'm going to walk down through the budget really quick just for the library. There were a number of like kind of weird things about this grant application. I know Wendy, you kind of walked side by side with me as we were putting it together. But it's really about improving energy of the building. In it, we put in $9,663, and this is all in the budget that I sent you for improvements to the HVAC system. So in the application, we said the boiler downstairs would be replaced with a heat pump system to heat the space here. The building's thermal envelope improvements, I believe that was some door sweeps. Who's got the scope of work right there? Yeah, like adding some door sweeps, insulation in the attic, and it also includes you guys widening the entrance door, which I know that this group has been trying to do for a while.
So I am concerned about the amount of door sweeps. It seems like an excessive amount.
So, I mean, I think that's a great question for Marlena. I think.
I believe they're supposed to go at the bottom of the door.
Correct. Yes, correct. But I think that they were also, you know, thinking between levels as well, like so that door would count. But yeah, 80 seems like a lot, but I think, yeah, no, yes, yeah, 80 linear feet. Yeah. Well, so we had to, the other thing that I didn't say was we had to base this application on, they came out and did this energy assessment. I think Hadley, you were probably here when the assessor came, and they wrote up this report, and a lot of them were kind of wonky or like had these weird things in it. The other thing that's in the scope of work, I think that you and I talked about, Wendy, is the replacement of the windows. It says replacing 4 existing single pane windows, and I don't see a single pane window in here.
They're downstairs.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, it's not the ones on the side of the door.
Basement windows are single pane.
Okay.
So it might be those down there, because when I was down there with my husband when we were doing the furnace, I looked and I was like, oh, okay, these might be them. So I don't know.
80 linear feet. That must be Bakersfield, California.
Yeah. I don't know. They probably have a much bigger library than we do, I'm guessing. So the other things were adding insulation into the attic, but you got the funds to do the door, and then the other piece of this too is that 20% of the total funding needs to be spent on ADA compliance improvements. So I think you can also qualify the door towards that as well. So based on how I'm reading this scope of work, and again, I would talk to Marlena just to confirm this, is I think that they'll be pretty flexible in terms of the funding that you have, as long as it falls within the scope. So if it's better insulation for the building, replacing the HVAC systems, replacing the door, making ADA accessible
bulbs?
improvements. Light bulbs, I don't know. They didn't really
I
recommend
think
that.
that we had the lighting done, actually, Rebecca. That was the light, because we had lighting and the fans done last time.
Okay, okay.
So going back to
I could
numbers,
make them
yep, you could definitely make repairs to the
freestanding.
ramp. Yep,
That's
Do
good.
some-
There's some places on the ramp that's soft.
yep, replace boards. You know, that would definitely count towards, you know, improving ADA accessibility for sure.
Okay, great.
I think so going back to the numbers, you know, heating system, you have about $9,600, thermal envelope, which is the door, the insulation, all that stuff, $19,000.
Wow.
$19,431. We wrote in,
That's more than I thought.
yeah, the total award is $46,085. So it's a lot. We also wrote in $5,818 in project support and oversight costs. So those are by definition in the grant for costs not tied to direct construction. So permits, legal fees, engineering, if you need to have it done, those sorts of services, consultation, and or if you need to hire a project manager to help with this. So you have that in your pocket, right? Like, so if this is too much, I know Hadley, you got a lot going on as librarian of this and bookmobile director, right? You know, if you need to hire somebody to, you know, be the project manager to make sure all the work gets done, you can do that with these funds. And then we added a 10% contingency. So that was really, the state recommended that in this grant because of the fast fluctuating costs of goods, materials, all that stuff. Yep. So that's what you have. The other caveat to this, and I know that we maybe had some conversations in there earlier, is that the grant happens on a reimbursement basis. So the library has to go out and pay for these things first and then get reimbursed by the state. There is, if that is a problem for your budget, there is a hardship request that can be made. Marlena can help with that.
Okay.
I'm sure that you would have to like show some sort of documentation about the organizational budget or cash flow or something like that. I'm not sure what she'll have you put together.
It's basically budget. Well, like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty close. It's our entire budget for the year.
Just out of curiosity, when we moved last year's fund into, do you know how much?
It's, let me see, he gave us the,
It wasn't, I don't know where the budget went. I didn't see that on there this year.
I think we might have had. Oh, I'll find out. I think I have it here. Believe it or not. Not sure, because remember I told you I lost my kids' stuff and I tore apart my house. So. Because I had to, when we did the reimbursement thing, I had to go over and spend umpteen hours.
application.
Yeah, that application has both town hall and.
Okay. I think we had $12,984.06 left. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that was the last number. So we have about 17,000, maybe 18,000 at the max in there right now, I would say, if I had to like guess off the top of my head, because I'm looking at the improvement fund. I had him print this out in January, so that would have stopped. So hopefully that's what the number is, 12,984, but I could be wrong. I will double check.
So if you requested that hardship, the rules, I'm reading the FAQ documents for the grant. You could get up to 30% of the award in hand first. So
30%.
Yeah.
Well, we have to have this done by 2026. So if we did like the door and got reimbursed for that and just did it piece by piece, start with something big and we'll get our money back and so on and so forth. We could swing it that way. We'll have to definitely see how we would finagle this. If we have, we have the $19,000 in an account that we can work with.
So also what I just read a question. It says, so as you're getting your contractor bids for some of this stuff, somebody asked if the bids come back higher than the money that we have through the award, do we need to amend the grant agreement? And it says yes, but the state will work with entities to do that. So hopefully you don't have to go through that process. And actually this looks like a pretty helpful document. I could email this to you guys too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions about that? It's a lot, but hopefully we can get some good improvements made.
Do you remember any of the questions that the select board had for you by any chance? Like anything?
I mean, so right now I know John is just taking some of the initial steps on the town hall as well. So he's like in the process of, contacting, they need to upgrade the electrical and they're going to have to remove a wall to pull out the existing boiler from down in the basement. So he's trying to get his ducks in a row around contractors and bidding some of those pieces as well.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing that I would say too is to probably get with the town treasurer about this too, and because there are forms that he has to fill out to get reimbursed for this from the state for the grant. So just to make sure that you're documenting everything that he'll need.
Okay.
Getting him the right forms if something needs to be billed to the grant, that sort of thing. I'm not sure if he's even aware, or John's made him aware of the town hall stuff. Hopefully.
I would hope so.
But there are specific reimbursement forms that have to be filled out to the state from the town.
Are there like any specific reporting requirements in terms of like progress reports and like the usage of our money? Do we have to report out on that, or just it has to be used, or like in line to be used?
Yeah, but like ARPA
for. I think there are reporting requirements. I remember it being not terrible. I think it might be like quarterly, but it was really like a financial, like this is how much we've spent. Yeah, and maybe I want to make sure I'm giving you the right information, but I think it was quarterly, and there was just like a paragraph about like a narrative update about what's happened. Plus the financials, like anything that had been spent against
they just wanted to know where we are with the project.
Right. Let me verify the schedule of that before I take off here. Look at the funding agreement that I got. It's making me relog into my email.
Here's the man of the hour.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I can skip down my phone.
Good, I wasn't the last one.
I held off so you wouldn't be.
Thank you, Michael. A scholar and a gentleman.
Either one, but that's all right.
That's a really good question. Let me look that up really quick. Might take me a minute if you guys want to talk about other things.
No, we want to stare at you.
Pressure's on.
I have something that we can take care of while he's busy. We can do elections right now. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know how everybody feels about where they are, what they're doing, but we have to fill all of them, so.
We have an A team now. So I nominate Christine and Anna.
I'll second it. I don't know what you're talking about. But my name, I'm good.
All right, we got it. Okay. So we have to do one at a time. So let's do the secretary first.
It's a lot quicker doing it
Okay.
all at once.
So you want to nominate?
I nominate Christine for secretary.
Second,
Although, are you interested, Christine, in
Yes.
doing the job again? All right. All those in favor?
I,
Those
Aye.
opposed? Unanimous.
Well, this is like pins and needles.
I know, it's election. All right, so let's do the treasurer.
I'll nominate Anna.
I'll second it. Anna, are you interested?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I don't have to do any real treasure.
Well, I mean, you never know. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
I,
And those opposed? All right, so congratulations.
Yeah.
And, we have to do chair and vice chair.
I'll nominate Wendy for chair.
I'll second it.
Second it.
Don't even ask her. Just vote.
All those in favor?
I,
Those opposed? There's one of them peeved. All right, and vice chair, I nominate Rebecca Smith.
I accept.
All right. Anybody else want to put Mike in there just to make it fun?
I'll nominate myself to show up once in a while.
Right. All those in favor of Rebecca as vice chair? Aye. Those opposed? Alrighty, we've got our team.
Yay.
Yay. Congratulations. The fastest election in the West. All right.
I want to recount.
Okay, how are we doing, Alex? Cause I
I
can
had it and then now I can't find it again on my screen.
find something else to do. real
Do you want me to
quick.
do my update with federal issues?
No, not yet. Not
All
right.
fast, not yet. I'm gonna see if I have
Did we,
anything.
approve the minutes already?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a quick, how did the basement go? And,
Yeah.
So the basement went okay. However, Mike got in trouble.
I did.
Like they did in trouble, and I didn't know it at the time because I wasn't fully paying attention to what Mike was doing. He
I
threw
know
away.
you,
He
Brad.
threw away Mary's boxes,
Oh.
or he used Mary's boxes.
Okay.
Yes, and Mary spoke to Mike.
Yes.
Oh, Mike, wow, okay.
Were
felt
they
the
boxes full of stuff, or was it just,
No, they
there's
had
an
Better
empty
World
one.
books.
huh?
They were under the table.
Yeah, she has a spot where she keeps the stuff. Every time I'm down there, she goes, "These are mine, so don't touch them."
Yeah.
Label.
She had them hidden. They were under the table with.
No.
She thought she had them hidden from you guys.
The one that we cleared off?
The
Or
kids'
the-
table that's down
okay.
there.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's just stuff underneath there.
I think it was actually Hannah that took me out. I didn't want to throw it under the lamp.
Michael, you got in trouble because you were supposed to be listening and all that.
Oh,
Well,
no.
there was that too.
No, that was not an issue.
It was too.
But other than that, it went really well.
Okay, and I put OSHA on there as well. Have we straightened out the smoke detector downstairs?
Alarm.
I would assume that we have to have
Is there one up there?
There is one up there. It's over there. It's on
Okay.
top of the
and they
bookshelf.
didn't fuss about a CO2 detector down
No,
there.
nope. He just asked about a fire. We have one up here. He told me to switch them, which I haven't done. And actually, I think I need to.
That is not. It's over there, I think.
Is
but-
a
That Cheryl told me that's an antenna for the Wi-Fi.
no, not that.
And
It's
it's a little
a-
like thing on top.
Oh, okay.
yeah. He told me to switch them, so he said that the CO2 would be coming from the basement, so to put that near the basement door.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it up that high because it sinks.
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's no place to put it lower that little hands won't get it.
Well, we
By
can
the
mount
time
it.
that much CO2 is in the room, everybody's
Yeah,
gone.
goner.
Everyone.
Plug in, like, you know, the CO2 ones that are just plug-in
Are
CO2
they?
detectors? Have you guys
Mhm.
seen those?
No.
Oh, well,
Yeah, but I also have to
Yeah, I
get
have
batteries because I don't think the batteries have been changed in a while.
On what?
The fire alarm or the CO2 detector.
Okay.
Don't they usually make beeping sounds when the battery's low?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You know what?
I haven't done it in 2 years that I've been here.
Okay, so we should probably do that, but a good tip that we do is in our house, we write in Sharpie on the
Oh.
battery when the last time. And it's a
Oh,
little
that's-
scary sometimes when we take them out.
But you could do fall ahead and bring back.
yeah, that's just what we do at my house. But I
Does it
also
have to be,
haven't.
like, could it be behind your desk
Hmm.
area? Like somewhere over there for the
Oh,
CO2
maybe.
maybe?
I could,
People try and
Well,
keep the kids.
Why
up.
don't we look into a plug-in one and see
Yeah.
if we
or
can
I
do
could
that?
put that downstairs because I probably hear it. If I hear beeping downstairs, I'm gonna go check it out.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm good with it being downstairs. I think we should have one downstairs and upstairs, so. I know. Well, so why don't we just to be safe, and I really would like to, I don't know what you have for a smoke detector up here, but I do push for the replacement battery ones and not the ones that have the built-in ones because they're kind of a pain in the butt. We have had them and they are awful, and I always go back and buy ones that you put batteries in because they do not go as long as they say, and then they beep incessantly, and it's the thing trying to rip it out.
Right. I also haven't heard back from them about anything.
Okay, so we'll just go ahead and do it and be done with it. So
What about the fire extinguisher?
do we have a fire extinguisher? We should probably.
Yeah. He didn't check it.
Okay. Well, all right. I would assume that it has been checked since Cheryl, because Cheryl's husband.
Yeah, there's usually.
But I mean, we could have somebody from the fire department stop by and take a look.
I can ask Linda so if all will come.
Yeah. It's a good idea. I see. I think I see Ellen tomorrow night. I could ask her. Funny, but that would be about right because that's when Cheryl left, right?
October 22. Right?
Yeah.
So that's when it was last checked and when it would have been checked.
Well, either you or me. 'Cause
Yeah.
I see Ellen tomorrow night, so I can ask her.
It'll be a couple weeks before I see Linda.
Okay, so I'll just ask Ellen. I'll ask her. All right,
I'm ready when you guys are.
ready.
I love past me because I wrote up a contract summary sheet for the select board last July and I completely forgot I did that. So, and I'm happy to send this to you. For reporting, it says the grantee commits to submitting a report detailing a narrative summary along with funds spent every quarter. And then they have the quarter's dates listed. It says if the projects are ongoing, a report will be submitted for each quarter that funds are spent. So I'm assuming they are going to want one report for the whole town, including town hall and you guys. So someone at town hall is going to need to coordinate putting those
Okay,
things together.
my main issue here is Christine is going to be having this baby soon, and I don't want to overly tax her with having to have reports done. So, maybe somebody will talk about somebody being in charge of that, maybe. Whether we have a person or persons who are a committee that oversees this, since we need a manager of getting
Since
contractors.
she's not here, I nominate Nikki for that since she works over there with the select board and she can work with us easily.
Nikki? Not one of us, though.
No, I don't mind doing that stuff.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that But
Sure.
I don't want to put any more on Christine with baby coming. So
I'm happy to support it.
Yep.
In whatever way you need to
Okay.
support it. So writing stuff up, helping.
Yep.
We'll stuff.
we'll work that out.
There is a, you'll see when I send this overview to you, there is a specific reporting form that the state is requiring you, so that might give you some insight
Okay.
into what is going to be asked each quarter.
Anna, we could work on that together.
Yeah, definitely.
And it might be pretty simple. It might just be like, hey, just found out we got the awards. We've been collecting bids from contractors. Like,
Right.
yeah, like it might be as simple as that. Don't quote me on it though.
Chicken.
Well, I think that first and foremost, we definitely need to set up a meeting with Marlene about the, ins and outs and make sure that we're all good.
Yep. And I know she's been trying to follow up with John. I haven't seen any emails back from John to her.
Well, we
Maybe he
can-
did that on his own, but
We can get on that and maybe hopefully set up a time that works for her, and I mean, even if she wants to come in on Zoom or whatever, it's fine with me.
do you want, I'm happy to introduce you to her as well, if you would like.
Yeah.
Like saying I met with you and that you guys would be interested in.
Yeah,
meeting her.
absolutely. We'd like to get that started. I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna take to get people, cost, all that stuff. I would like to
And then
get
we're
it.
going into the busy time of year for contractors, so.
I'd rather get it squared away if we have to have this done by the end of 2026. So,
Did we already get a quote for the door?
from
yes,
Peter's friends.
yeah.
Okay. So we have one.
We have one.
Whether it's the same.
Well,
amount or
it's
not.
interesting because we used the previous door quote that was not, and it was more for to replace like this, not have an
Oh.
ADA door.
Really?
But yeah, so I don't know what the deal was with, but I know that I think we chose to use that.
We used the higher
used
cost,
the higher
Yeah.
cost.
Fair.
So,
Yeah.
just in case they only gave us partial.
right,
funding.
and so
Yeah.
we're kind of got some backup on there at least,
Yeah.
because the door is really important to me.
So
Yeah.
we, a reminder, we put in that cost from that
Mm-hmm.
quote.
Right.
As part of the thermal envelope improvements in the budget, but then you also have 20% of the award that can go to ADA. So you can
Okay.
add
Hmm.
to, if you're putting in, if you're putting in an ADA accessible.
Oh, we're putting it in the door.
Which was the quote for the door?
Let's see if I can find that.
It was
Do you
like,
remember what his friend's name was?
Charlie. Like shot. Or Charles.
15. I think they came in at 10.
Probably have it in my email for you.
And I would pull it up, but
So the one that I
$10,000?
got,
no.
No, it was more.
the one that I got was 7,379. That was the lesser of the two.
And who is that?
Charles Hendershot from Hendershot's Carpentry and Property Maintenance.
We added in here, I have in my budget note, we added in $10,330 for the replacement of the front
Okay.
door. I don't know if that was the quote or not, but
I'll have to look. It sound, so we can add 10% to that. We can add 20% to that. That's what you're saying, right?
probably, yeah, I mean, so the budget breakdown is like this, right? So you've got the doors in here, that $10,000 is in this line item.
Right.
And then you've also got that much for ADA improvements. So I think you could probably, if it's more than the $10,000 you budgeted, you can pull from those ADA funds. Suggested.
Okay. All right.
But again, I talked to Marlena just to make sure.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, we are definitely going to want to schedule something up.
Yep.
Okay.
Plus 10% contingency too. So,
Yep.
you know, this was pretty loosey goosey in terms of application. So
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to get on it, definitely. I think we can get some,
Have to.
Before tariffs.
right,
Stuff
and get
is
the
back
store
there.
ordered and
anything else? Any other questions you guys can think of?
I don't have any.
Okay, so my follow-up will be, I'm gonna send you the overview of what's required. And introduce you guys, you and Hadley to Marlena,
Okay.
via email. And that way you guys can set up a meeting. There's something else I thought I was gonna do.
As long as you send us
You
the
have
emails
the-
and stuff,
Yeah.
we're all good. And I will forward it to the people you don't know.
Yep.
Where it says like installing 80 linear feet of door sweeps, we
Mhm.
don't have to install 80 feet. So like it's like just what
Right.
we need to up to 80.
I
here.
would imagine so. If
Okay.
it's up to 80, you're probably fine.
Okay.
If it goes beyond the cost, then you might have to renegotiate something.
Okay.
Um,
There's no door in the basement that goes outside, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
No, that's why we
Yeah.
can't use it for event space.
Maybe they were thinking, because if we got,
unfortunately, we
find
had to
out.
write what was in that report,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? The energy assessment.
we'll ask her.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good, Alex.
Yeah.
I can't believe that we got it.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
And that'll certainly help. I mean, we are gonna have to keep our oil furnace for when it
Right.
gets cold, but
You'd be surprised. We just put a heat pump in a renovated building on our property, and it does really well. Even when it was really cold.
Basement?
Probably not heating the basement, but up here it would do pretty well. Yeah, basement
Yeah.
is still kind of cool.
Mhm.
well, that we might be, I'll talk to Larry and see what he has to say. Probably we should. I know that you're good at getting quotes.
We
Right.
put one in and we ran it all winter.
Mhm.
So, and we've got like 1,100 square feet of,
Mhm.
on our floor, and it did fine. Oh,
Yeah, especially if you're gonna add installation to the attic and stuff, you're probably gonna be okay. I mean,
All right, well, we'll look into that.
There access up there, or is
Yeah,
it through the ceiling?
It's through the
It's that
ceiling
one.
by the door.
Okay.
did that inspector go out there?
No.
And how do they know you needed an insulation in the attic?
it's
Good
the
luck again.
the building.
You're like,
It's one of their first.
No, because when they put in
Mhm.
the lights, there was a guy that went up there. I'll ask Cheryl again. I'm gonna be taking care of her farm again, so I'll ask Cheryl and see what she says about that. What happened? I'm sure I've asked her already, but
I'm sure
ask.
Peter can also just take a look if you want him to see if there's
I
insulation.
don't know.
on
I don't know
in
if
there.
he can reach it
He can bring a ladder.
on the stairs.
Oh wait, it's on the stairs?
Yeah,
So I
thought
mean, there
that
are
was
ladders
fine.
that you can use on stairs that you like.
right.
Like, they just
Yeah, but this one's in. It's
on the stairs.
above the
I
stairs.
thought it was like right outside the stairs.
No, that's just the loose tile.
Oh. I was like, that's a really small area for someone to get into, but sure. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. From Cheryl, the lights and fans were installed by a licensed electrician in Enosburg. When he retired, he upgraded the electrical in the attic. There was an energy audit done in 2011. The insulation in the attic was considered good. The windows are new from 2008. The fluorescent lights are not fluorescent, they are LED.
What did we find downstairs for lights? Were those LED or fluorescent?
I think they're fluorescents, but I'm not
So I
sure.
guess that we would need somebody to actually go up there and see if the insulation is still good up there. If it's still considered energy
Mhm.
efficient. That would be quite a job, I think, to take it off.
Well, you might be able to add to or
Yeah, they
or
just
do
put
spray
lights on.
foaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody's spraying now.
It's supposed to be better.
Yeah,
All right, Alex,
Awesome.
thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course.
We appreciate it. And you're getting paid okay by them, by the town for us.
Yes, I mean, I'm here at the select board's request, so I'm billing them that either.
Okay. Making sure, because we did have this discussion with the select board, or I did,
Yeah,
and said, hey, can we
yeah,
have it? And they said yes, so.
yep. And I'm still keeping an eye out for that Department of Libraries grant that supposedly was gonna come this winter.
I don't know.
So,
It was, last I heard, it was pushed off to 2025. And now everything has.
Oh,
mhm. Yep.
Yeah, so. We didn't talk about that particular thing today in the meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Talked about the other thing.
Just know that I'm on their listserv, and I know you are too. I'll keep watching to see if there's an
Yeah.
announcement about anything, and I'll certainly let you all know if I see something. But
We did, I did come across the grant for 50,000 for a shovel ready project, which I was actually thinking we could maybe you just update the septic with that.
Yeah, I don't know what, if that
And
would
then-
be,
And then we would be ready for the next phase,
Yeah.
when and if that ever happens.
true. And that would have our bathroom taken care of anyway.
Right.
Okay, well, we'll discuss that, okay. All right.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
Don't forget your keys over there.
yeah, well, I won't get very far with that one. It's the only car we have right now.
It's gotta be rough.
We'll see. We just found out today, so tomorrow's gonna be the hustle bustle. I get to go take Felix down to Cambridge, then drive Dana to St. Albans, and then come back to do my work, and then do the whole loop over again in the evening.
Like an Uber.
But whatever, it could be worse, right? Could be worse. Thank you all.
All right.
See you soon. Yep. Bye, Rebecca.
Bye.
Okay, so, let's see, what do I have left on the list? Okay, so we did TD Bank, did we talk about TD Bank?
No.
Just that we, well,
I
we
can
all
read the
signed.
update, but
Okay.
from Tom.
Yeah.
The one thing I forgot to mention when we were moving this, and I'm probably gonna kick myself now, is what name did we put, or did he put on the account for the new account? Because at the last bank, it said Bakersfield Town Library. It did not say HF Brigham Library.
I believe it said that there was a conversation when it was happening. Brigham. I'll
Okay,
double check with him. 'Cause
yeah.
I noticed that he called it Bakersfield Town Library and I was like,
Yeah, for some reason, the select board keeps calling it Bakersfield Town Library, but we never changed our name.
No, we are the HF Brigham.
yeah.
Technically, we are the HF Brigham Free Library. So,
and I think the person's deed that I found, the will downstairs who made it so the library could be built, she said.
the HF
I
Brigham
think
Free
so.
Library.
We might want to check that if we decide to change the name of the library at any point, but
Wait, what?
the person who made it so the library could be built in her will, I think she said it had to be named the HF Brigham Library.
Right. Yeah. With the money.
I don't have a problem with that. I just don't want to be anything,
And-
I account as Bakersfield Town Library, because
Right.
it's not our name.
And I think that's probably why the town never officially had us change our name once they looked at the deed, because someone mentioned that they looked at the deed and saw that if this building was ever anything but a library, it reverted back to the family.
Yep, just like this school. Okay, so, we did sign off on checks. It's about $150 for checks. So we're all square on that. And we're all good. The money's all moved, right? Okay. Okay, we discussed spring programming. We did Alex. We can table the Friends of the Library. We did the OSHA surplus funds. Okay, so the upcoming grant application, we just covered that, anything new?
Nothing new. During Flare today, we talked about, it was all about trustee maintaining and recruiting new trustees. And then we talked about the IMLS and where things are.
Okay, so you want to talk about the cuts?
Yes, so just there was the executive order. It's all happened kind of fast. There was the executive order that was defunding the IMLF, which they were in the process of fighting, and I know that there were some senators, or it was a bipartisan fight to try to get that to not go away. There were 4 states, 2 red, 2 blue. I can't remember. I know that Maine was one of them, but I don't remember what the others were. And so far that has not worked. Last week last Wednesday or Thursday, the IMLF in Washington, they got an email stating that as of that day, they were done. They're on leave, and they are not allowed to answer any more questions. So they've initially there's no one there. As far as Vermont is concerned, a third, I think they said, a third of the Vermont Department of Libraries funding comes from them. Several state librarians are paid that way. And so as of right now, they're all paid through to the end of this year. I think through June. Like they definitely have funding through June. They don't know about further.
So they have a different calendar usually. They're
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so I guess we'll see what happens in July. And the biggest, so some of the programs that are going to be affected by this are like the online databases, like the EBSCO, and things that.
What is that?
That's like a for peer-reviewed scientific. You can find job help. You can find
What is it? What is the name?
EBSCO, EB.
EBSCO, CSO.
Yeah. And we don't get charged for it. Like anyone who has a library card in the state of Vermont, or maybe it might even be geographically, it might be based on your computer's physical location being in the state, can use it. So that would be a loss for a lot of people. There's legal help on there. There's so many things on there.
Okay, I think you have like the card over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And that would be probably one of the first things that we would see disappear.
What would directly be impacting us? Like, is the courier?
The courier
is going to be the big one that we have to pick up.
Yes.
And that's how we get the interlibrary loan.
Yes.
Now
we have that money through October.
Okay, so my question is, interlibrary loans, how does that function without them being paid, etc.? Is the courier service paid? How do I phrase this? It's what, Green Mountain Messenger?
Impartial.
Right.
So my question is, on the end of them sorting the books, etc., to go to different libraries, is the funding going to be there for them to even be able to hang on to this program at all, or is interlibrary loans just going to cease and stop?
So Joy said that the last thing that's going to get cut, most likely, she's not part of these conversations, but she believed that that would be the last thing that they would cut, and they would cut other things first, as funding.
I mean, that's been around forever.
As far as if we don't have money for the courier, if that funding goes away, it would revert back onto the libraries to put them in the mail and mail them.
So wait, we have half in our budget right now for the courier. Right. Could we opt hypothetically, could we opt if we do not have the funds to cover this, what is it, $700?
I
Could
don't.
we go could we do it every other week?
I don't know about that. The way that it sounded this morning on the call was that the courier program as it exists right now wouldn't exist.
Oh, wow.
So, it would be, we wouldn't have the green box anymore, is what it sounded like. It
Wow.
sounded like it would be us going to the
The
mailbox.
mailbox again. And I
Yeah.
mean, in the postal service, who knows what's gonna happen with that?
Right. So that is the biggest, that's what affects us the most. We now have, with every interlibrary loan that goes out, I put one of those in there so that people understand what IMLS is.
Can you read that, Rebecca?
I can, yeah. Yeah.
Does this also affect, I assume this affects Echo? I assume this affects state parks?
It might, so it might affect state parks already.
Okay.
Echo is through Echo.
Okay, so, but Echo
There's no
gets,
state
but
funding?
no, Echo does get funding, because I think I read that somewhere, that Echo gets funding from the government and they are getting
Right.
cut. So we have to brace ourselves for that as
Right.
well.
Yeah, I
The
don't.
Shelburne Museum.
Shelburne Museum, all of it, but they're the IMLS is the Institute of Museum and Library Science. So
Yeah.
What about the summer reading program?
as of right now, we're getting, that money has not been cut.
So we don't know. And that's what?
350.
350.
And
Oh God, that would really mess the budget up, wouldn't it?
well, if that, honestly, if they say,
No, I meant for
do
the whole
this, we can't do
United
this.
States.
Yeah.
Right. But if they said that we weren't going to be able to get the 350, I wouldn't have Vince come, because that's all going to Vince.
Oh, okay.
So that would be that effect, but I mean, would figure something else out.
And we still have, okay, let me just ask this, probably a blessing in disguise. The traveling storyteller check has not been returned to Tom yet. or-
Right.
So that's considered still out, so we can still have her. So. Blessing in
Oh,
disguise.
gotcha. Yeah.
And then the other area that I am concerned about, it has not been affected yet, but the funding from NCSS.
Oh, yeah. Now, are they government?
They do get government funding.
Ooh, that's gonna be because
but
a lot of our programming is.
Yeah,
What is MCS?
the Northwest. North.
Or I guess, what do they do like,
counseling.
I think
Do they
Northwest
do
Counseling.
what do they do for us this, or what do they,
So they provide us $2,000 a year for children under 5 programming. And like all of our art supplies, our coat rack, our pretty much anything that's not above
Yeah.
came from that funding. And we have diapers downstairs that they also provide for anyone who is in a jam and can't get until they get to the store.
Yep.
So that I have not heard anything from them, but I do know that there was something that they said, I think on social media, that they were seeing, they were trying to pivot their funding. I mean, the good thing is that nothing in Vermont gets 100% of their funding federally.
Yeah.
So, and like the way that Vermont funds all their libraries is at the town level. So we're going to be it's going to be less painful for us in the long term than it is for some of the bigger statewide library systems that get more federal funds. So I guess it's blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Still, it's
Yeah.
still quite a bit of money. It's quite a bit of money out of our budget that
Yeah.
we were not banking on.
And then on the 4th, Charity Clark did say that she and I think 8 other states, Vermont and 8 other states, are suing to save the IMLS.
Good.
And Joy said that as of right now, the state is making contingencies, but providing their services as if nothing is wrong. So, but you know, there it's obviously they're talking about it.
I guess I'm gonna have to look at the budget, and because I'm my brain is not, I'm trying to remember to see, because I understand that we have our budget does not revolve around like NCSS. It does revolve around, I think the only one that the ones that it really revolves around is the summer reading program, the money that we get for that, and the courier. I think that I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that those are the only ones that we, and I will look on the budget for 20. I'll look and see what's going on there. Because I don't think, I think that we just, anything else that we were getting in, we just didn't really take
Right.
for granted. And I'm pretty sure that we did not put in those things as, well, obviously the courier is the one that we have to come up with if it continues.
Right. And for me, the program that the programs that I'm planning for the summer reading program are all things that most of them can be done in-house.
Good.
So
well, we have we did get quite a bit of stuff, I see, from
Yeah.
that you've really obtained quite a collection of stuff. I like that it's up here, it's displayed, you know. And we can also do, if worst comes to worst, we can also do what we did before, and we have like an Amazon wish list that we advertise to the town, you know, if we need markers, if we
Right.
need
yeah.
something that somebody can pick up, you
Mhm.
know, and we can do that, you know, and we can, but I will look and see how our budget, I'll take a look and see how our budget is for this year. And if we can weather the, I think with the internet change that we did, I think that we might be able to weather it, because the only thing I took out was Tom. That was the only thing that I took out was Tom, or not Tom, the QuickBooks. Took out QuickBooks. I kept in Tom. So we still have his
Right.
salary.
And I bought the toner out of last year's budget.
Right, yep.
And so we should be good for 2 years.
So I'll take a look. I will go over this. I will take a look. I'll look at 2025 and I will look at 2026 and see how we're doing with that. Okay?
What's
Does
the
that sound-
expiration date on that toner?
I think as long as they're kept in a cool, dry place, that they're fine.
Yeah.
I've kept ink around.
Because it might get harder and harder to get.
Okay, so that's the dealio with that. All right, so I think that the only other thing that I wanted to address, we would meet Rebecca remembers this. Hadley, I think it was with you, Hadley, too. I think we just did this last year, didn't we? Where we met at 6:30 sometimes. Do we?
Yeah.
Yeah, until
In the
school
summer
started.
until school started. I mean, I don't know if anybody wants to do that instead of waiting till 7. I mean, it's up to you guys, you know.
If you-
6:30 instead of 7.
6:30 instead of 7, I mean,
I think that usually works for me. I get back from work at 6. But sometimes on these, like Mondays are sometimes my day off.
but I mean, even, you know, if you can join Zoom, I don't care, you know,
Yeah.
I live right down the street. One person has to be here. That's the caveat.
Yeah.
One person has to be here. And I mean, I am, you know, 7 o'clock, you know,
I can do 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30 is fine.
when school ends, so maybe we can consider voting on that. We'll talk about it some more, but just put it in your mind and we'll vote on it when it's, you know, for June and the
I like 6:30.
how we feel. I like 6:30 too. 7 o'clock doesn't bother me too much in the winter time. If we want to go 6:30. I forget the reason why we changed it back, but
It's something to
I
do
think
with
it's just school,
Yeah.
you in school.
Yeah.
So, okay. And so do you guys want to do the general policies or do you want to sit on that till next time?
I'd rather sit on that till next time, so that way I can get all of them.
Okay, sounds good. I'm good with it. Just let's get that done so we can get it
Yeah, now that
squared
I
away
have,
and
yeah,
and taken care of. So we've got to watch for any email from Marlene
yeah.
Valenti. Are we if we had to have a meeting to meet with her, would anybody like, because I would like to get, I don't want to be sitting on this months and months, so like if we have to have a meeting to get it squared away, the only day I can't do is Tuesdays, so I mean, see what she wants, see if we can do Zoom with her or whatever, and get this, start getting the ball rolling and find out what we need to know informationally.
And the hardship.
Yep, the
request,
hardship
yeah.
request for sure.
The
We're
other
gonna have to
thing
do that.
Zoom.
Yep. So. But I would, Mike, I would kind of lean on you about the contractors and stuff like that. You know, think
Yeah,
about that, with maybe work with Rebecca on that.
What are we, looking for, since I missed all of that?
We need somebody to put in, we need the door. We're putting in a ADA compliant door.
Part of the budget, and some stuff.
Oh,
So it's gonna be larger, but it's still gonna be in the same spot.
is there enough room on the porch area
We're gonna
for
have to,
wheelchairs to be able to like move?
Well, that's what I
That's
was
a-
wondering, is
another
if
thing we have to
if
consider.
part of that grant that you were, maybe that septic thing, because I mean, with those pillars there, might have to be removed. And we could expand our, like I said, like a patio area
as
wider.
long as it's bigger than 33 inches, 33 inches or bigger.
36. Oh, wait, I don't know about, yeah, that's where.
36 is comfort for all, but like the minimum is 32. So I'd say 33 and above is.
And the HVAC system as well.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to pull out the library.
Oh, yeah.
What I'll do is,
The doors would be standard.
Here's the.
Mike, I will email you. Oh, you have it. Perfect.
Oh, I might have had it here too.
If so,
It's a lot.
I don't know if we'd have to.
No,
Maybe
we-
just like a turn at the top. Because we would need a 60-inch clear diameter around.
Well, we would have to move the box, the drop box. That's something we would have to consider.
Well, that's why I was thinking, if we don't do the septic, maybe we would be better off revamping our handicap area.
I was actually, that was something I was concerned about with putting a push button. Not so much in the summer or nice months, even now is fine, but kids love to push those buttons, and if there's only the one door, that's a lot of cold air.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And so I don't know if it's with the budget that we have, if it's possible to build a two-door system, like two-door, two button.
Well, we can find out, because like I said, like he said that, and we have to meet with her. I really think we need to talk to Marlene about this, but we have what he said, $10,000 for the door plus, right now, $6,982 in ADA funds.
Mhm.
So that's almost $17,000 worth of door.
Right. That's a
Or
lot.
and even the ADA, we could widen this area, do something out here to make it easier, better. I don't know. Maybe we move the door over. I don't know,
Right.
we should, I think that we need to meet with Marlene though and find out how much we actually have, because he said that it was, that he showed me, I think the number was 6,982. I think that's what it was on the thing. The ADA fund.
Right.
And then there's a 10% contingency on there as well. So
And then we could also use like the part of the 20% for.
yeah. Oh wait, I think that is the 20. I don't know. Like I said, we need to meet with
10,000 plus
Yeah.
20% plus 10% contingency.
I don't know. We need to find out
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Because because
Mike's
ADA
got
means
it
that we
right.
could like you
Like,
guys
thank
said,
you for that.
the ramps will be
Yeah.
redone.
Mhm.
We don't know
Oh,
exactly
no,
how
not
much that
this
is.
one. This one did
Yeah.
not, right?
But
Yeah, those boards are soft.
What windows are they replacing?
yeah, I think they're downstairs because they're single pane, and that's the only single pane doors that are down there.
I even did it this way, so it all be on one. Oh my goodness.
How many did it say on there, Mike? I'll go down and look.
4.
Four.
I
I
can
think
look
there's
at
4
it.
down there.
So thermal improvements, ADA improvements are 6,982. And thermal improvements are 19,431. So if we don't need to add anything to the attic, then we can use some of that funding towards the door as well.
There are indeed 4 windows,
Okay.
and they're small. They're like this, like if you saw it off at this window.
Oh, okay.
Is a heat pump really nearly $10,000?
I don't know.
Ours is like half that, so I don't know why it would be.
Well, and my question, here's another, I need to write this down.
And I got the.
Question for her.
That could also be including installing.
That was everything.
Oh, that was
It was
it. Oh.
still half.
Okay, my
I'm gonna
question,
reprint this for you tomorrow.
I-
It's printed weird.
What are you looking for?
Oh, the budget that Alex emailed me printed this way. With here's the rest of that sentence, and then there's another one cell.
okay, so about the heating
I can
system, we
make
have to
copies
ask
of this.
Marlene, this is kind of
They just go
important,
on 2 pages. A little bit.
is, we have to buy the stuff, right? So my question is, Energy Efficiency Vermont, will we be eligible for a rebate after the fact? Are we allowed to do that? Are we allowed to?
Not as good as you think.
Yeah, but money
Better than
rebate.
nothing.
My next question is, will there be a rebate with Tuvit, or will the federal funds
Yeah.
for the
Well-
rebate have disappeared?
Well, I mean, I think that they must, I don't know, we'll find out. It's a good question, because
Yeah.
I asked that of the select board and they didn't know.
That would be a good question for Marlene.
Because because if we can get that, we need,
When is all this supposed to happen?
By
20.
The end of
2026.
Okay.
The funds at least have to be committed,
You're right, committed.
like if the contract signed with a contract.
I know when I was talking to Chuck about the other project, he said he needed a 10-month window.
Wow.
Do,
This is nowhere near that scope.
No,
so,
no, no, no.
Yeah,
the-
10-month heads up.
for the,
For the whole,
extension,
yeah.
gotcha.
The other thing is, since we're doing those windows, what about putting in those, it'd be like a half circle around them.
Oh, well.
They're actually, yeah, an escape window. So then you'd actually have egress from the basement. It's considered, because I know. they'll do
Would
in
that
the
count,
windows. Yeah,
like, so that
as
we could,
another exit,
so we
an
could,
emergency exit.
would that allow us to have people downstairs?
I don't see why not. You've got a way out if something happens.
Oh, you mean those storm shelter doors?
No, this is a window with a, I don't know if you cement it or metal, but it's an escape.
Oh,
I'll look and see what it's actually called, because we're gonna put one on my son's house. Well,
Well, find out how much,
Doctor Who.
how much he's gonna
Yeah.
pay for it too. I'd be interested. Because we do have our building, we do have our improvement fund, so we could do that as well.
Right.
And I will find out. I gotta write that down. then I
A
gotta find out.
swing in, yeah, egress window. It swings open, right?
either that or pulls in one
Well,
of the other,
yeah.
yeah. Oh. What's it look like?
They have like different options, but
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the biggest
Yeah.
problem will be building
the thing
outside,
outside.
yeah.
All right.
Only thing I wondered about those is what happens when they build snow in the winter.
Yeah, snow. You gotta cover it out.
Yeah,
Rain.
or get something that covers it, the snow doesn't.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got it covered, but, all right, so we got that.
feel like I will have more questions when I see all the documents, whenever he sends over everything.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But,
I will, let me see if he sent that yet,
Yeah.
and I'll forward it along to everybody. He probably sent it. He's pretty.
Oh, the
Oh.
door, the replacement line in the entrance door is also under the building envelope. Which is part of the 19,000.
We're considered a local government entity, right?
I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'd be town, yeah.
Okay. We have less than 50,000 people in our population here, right?
Yes.
Very much so.
No, no.
More than 1,000 people.
No, I know.
We're hiding them all. They're in the basement.
They'll be after them soon. I'm gonna find them, get them out of here. So this is probably at least two different contractors, right? For this stuff, for the
Three.
door.
I would
and-
say 2 or
I think
3.
you usually have to have 3.
Oh,
Oh,
she's
no,
talking about bidding.
Yeah,
Like, we're saying a contractor to do the door, a contractor to do the window, a contractor to do the
so
heat,
door
the
and window should be able to handle that. With the heat pump.
heat pump.
Okay, all right.
So I'm looking at this T-Mobile grant that I sent you. It looks like it's a rolling, like there's a deadline for spring, for summer, for fall. So if we don't do it right now, we won't miss out.
Okay. Sounds good.
There is, sorry, I just was thinking with windows and doors. We are using somebody actually from Bakersfield right now to replace some of our windows. It's called Gemstones Glass. I think it's Carrie Stone and Abel. I don't know if her name's actual Stone anymore, but
She was right up here.
yeah, she's right over here. They've been really nice to work with. So
Okay.
And how soon can they start this? This
Well,
is a real thing, right? It's
yeah,
not a-
yeah, no,
Yeah.
this is the real thing. We have to meet with, that's why I wanna meet with Marlene. Marlene, if we can meet with Marlene and then we can, because all we need to do is file that, the hardship thing. And then I think we'll be on our way. I just have to figure out from Tom how much money we have in our, building fund. That
But I
can,
can get them here anytime to look at.
yeah,
Okay.
yep. I guess my concern is, just knowing exactly what we what we want to do and what we can do, you know what I mean? Like with the door, you know, with the, you know, ADA, with the ADA funds, I want to completely understand the ADA funds before we, you know. But yeah, I would go ahead and start calling. This is a good time to call, right? So,
Winter would have been better.
yeah, I know. We didn't know if we were gonna get it or not.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so when I get the stuff from Alex, I will forward it along to everybody, including you, Mike. And I will be in contact. Hadley, he said that Hadley and me would, so if Marlene wants to set something up, we'll work something out and try to get that squared away so we can get rolling on this quickly.
Now-
Certainly the heat pump, we can probably get started on that. I just, my issue is we don't have enough money. We have to pay for it up front and then they reimburse us.
Okay,
So
Yeah.
we have to stagger our projects.
But
That's the
wouldn't
thing.
the heat pump be considered in a building improvement? Like,
Yeah, it is considered building improvement, but I'm not worried about using the building improvement funds. My worry is we can't put in that and that at the same time.
Right.
We have to be paid back.
Yeah.
before we
Right,
can
right.
Put in that.
so
I
which
would-
one
Well,
do you-
I would,
A good
I think that
question.
the heat pump would probably be the one we want to attack first
that
if we
actually
could,
Gives you air some.
right,
right.
So.
A good
um,
question
and
might
if
be
they
is how
would-
long it takes them to reimburse.
converse, yeah.
So then we can kind of plan a little bit of how long to wait in between.
But-
And would we wanna do two heads, so it does do the basement some too, or not?
I
Get a
don't
quote
know.
for both, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I would, yeah, a quote for both, I think would be
Okay.
But-
smart.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
But my, with the, I'm thinking to myself, if we still, if we did the heat pump first, maybe Energy Vermont might still have funding that we can take advantage of and get the rebate on that, you know, and then we'll
Right.
Yeah.
have some more money to put someplace else. That's my thought there.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I understand, you know, the tariffs are gonna affect that door too. So, but like he said, he threw in a 10% contingency in there
Yeah.
for the flux of cost.
And we all know what's going on, so like if we find out it's gonna be more, we can go to them and say,
Yeah.
this is the reason why it's more.
Right.
We could not have anticipated this.
Right, exactly. And they said that we could do that. We could ask. And it doesn't hurt to ask. The worst they can say is no. And we do have money in our building improvement fund that we
And
could
we want
cover
a
that.
3-foot door, right?
36 inches, I think.
At the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 36. Okay, correct.
You were just trying to catch me up. And I did have to figure it out 12 and 12 is 24. 12 and 30. So that's 30. You didn't get me.
Dragon.
That's what we put on our house. And
Yeah.
then on the basement, I put 2 bedrooms down there and I went with 32. Extremely stupid. So, yeah, they just make it a lot easier. And maybe I'll check at my daughter's house and see how wide, they're all ADA there, so I'll see how wide those are.
Okay, sounds like a plan. All right, we're gonna bring this to a close here.
Yes, please.
All right, sorry. Okay,
Well, I don't know, ask Hadley if she's done.
There you go. She's gonna make us do poems over here in a minute, right? For the
No.
poetry tree.
Well, I'd love it if you did, but I haven't had dinner yet.
Okay, me either.
Me neither. I'm out on poetry, so.
All right.
You can say something
All
like,
right, so
not I.
we're adjourned at, we'll call it 8:20.
I've never heard that.
How about
before.
something simple? Not I said the fly. Yes.
Yeah, Adley emailed me on the poetry stuff.
And the next one.
It's
is
the leaf.
May
It's a leaf, you just have to make up a,
Something from the-
And then it goes on my tree,
Otherwise-
which I don't think you can see.
Check something on the budget. Did you-
Okay, just.
I'll just do it.
It's a,
Very-
it's a
Very
poet tree.
Here, I'll try to come up with something. I could just write anything, right?
Yeah,
Can I Google a poem? Or does it have to be original?
I mean,
I'm not
I-
very creative.
it took me a month to come up with the limerick that I put in
Oh,
the newsletter.
What's the limerick?
What's the date of our?
Well, maybe it's a little bit more than a limerick. It was just talking about the poetry.
Oh, good. Because limericks
Oh.
can get, kind of
Is that
raunchy.
still recording? Oh.
We
Yeah.
hope so.
What?
Well, hey, we're advertising the poetry.
I like it, but roses are red, violets are blue, libraries are great, books are
Oh my
few.
God, that's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, I'm not.
Yeah. I'm not following that.
You can put a dirty